Have you ever wanted to make a giant outdoor sign that would catch people's attention and hold up over time? First off, you should know that I have an indoor golf business called Divot, and it's right off of a main road. I have a sign, but I'm still getting a lot of people being like, what do you do here? So I thought I would make another sign that explains it a little bit more. And in this video, I'm gonna show you the challenges and the solutions. So let's jump into it. First, let me show you the plan. For me, the process always starts the same. 3D modeling the idea. There's my avatar for scale. I am 5'6", and this thing is gonna be 9 feet by 12 feet. It might seem large, but on the road when people are flying by at 60, it's not that large. But the question still remains, how do you build it?
So this is gonna be the very interior core. Jacob's cut out most of the meat here in order to save on weight. Then you can see each thing that exceeds the sheet of material is then put together with bow ties. Then after that, we're gonna do another layer. This gets painted and we'll create the background. Then we'll do another layer of the gopher, and then we'll do another layer of the actual details of all of those things. And then we're gonna flip it over and then repeat the same. And then how do you keep it from not tilting over, getting knocked over by the wind, or if we need to move it, how do we do that? So then we've come up with this base. Again, who knows? The idea here is that we're gonna be able to pick it up with a forklift.
That seems like a solid plan. I wasn't worried. This is very much within my wheelhouse and I was excited about it. However, it will take 16 sheets to complete this sign. So I put my savers to work. Besides a indoor golf business, I also have a CNC business where I run 2 shop savers. These units both have the vacuum bed and automatic tool changers, so it took no time to eat through the 16 sheets needed for this job. I get asked all the time about these units, about what I'm running and if I like them. And yes, they are the brand to start with if you're able to, or work up to if you can't. Having one in the shop was a game changer for me, and it allowed me to scale things to the point of incorporating a second. I've actually done interviews with Shop Saver, and it's released over on their channel if you're thinking about a commercial CNC and want to hear more details on my thoughts. For this, it was such a fun project watching all of the parts come out. It isn't often I get to pull an oversized gopher face and golf ball off. I would pile up all of the parts in no particular order after they were cut and then wheeled them out of the cut zone and over to a painting area. I separated out the parts and first only painted the parts that would be the defining outer layer and would be white, then started painting. This took a ridiculous amount of time, so I'll save you from watching it and skip right to the cool part, which was assembling things. So you see the outline of divots there, and then Jacob and I will add layer 2. The process is exactly the same from layer to layer. We're gonna be using DAP's exterior wood glue in between each layer, and then after aligning the sides, we'll use a 15 gauge nailer to pin it in place. After getting it pinned, we quickly move on to the other parts on that layer before the glue has time to set up.
Yeah, buddy.
Once all the pieces of a layer are on, we'll go back and nail the bejesus out of it. With these parts being cut on the CNC, they are dead on accurate, so aligning it was simple. However, this was a massive glue up. I not only needed a gallon, literally, of DAP's exterior wood glue, but just like all glue ups, the most stressful thing is that you have to move so quickly to get things in place and attach before the glue starts working. Thankfully, we didn't run into any problems, and it was quite fun piecing everything together. By the way, if you're worried about me using MDF, don't. I've been using this exterior grade MDF for all my signs, and even after years, they are holding up great.
Dang. That's big.
All of that gets painted blue. So next I painted. Again, boring, so let's skip ahead to the next major step, which is building a base. Did I mention this also had to be movable? Yeah, this giant thing that weighs 800 pounds also needs to be movable because my county doesn't allow signs where you have to mow. I get it, I understand, but I really wanted my sign out there. So I decided to try to make a base to make this movable so that I could pluck it up and move it around. Right now, before standing this thing up, I just had to add the 2x6s that would sandwich each side. All of these layers will be bolted together so that they can't separate. After aligning the base parts, I drilled a few holes through it all and then hammered in some bolts. Next, we somehow needed to lift it up and stand it upright. And this was the first time, but definitely not the last, during this project that we were all thinking, is this going to work? But I called in some help and we gave it a go.
All right, this might not work. Roughly, is this like 600 pounds? 7? Wow, this is like a me and another half of me. Or is it a full me?
With us being able to strong arm it upright and it staying, I moved on. Now, even though I'm using exterior grade MDF, I still gave it padded insurance. The paint will make it last longer. Then I went ahead and also sealed the top side of all of the edges. I'm using DAP's Dynaflex here, and I honestly don't think this is an approved use for this, but this is my go-to and it's never failed me before. So I cake battered the edges to give this thing even more life. While that was drying, I painted the back side, which I now had access to, then gave the entire assembly about 4 coats of paint.
So now the real detail is about to come popping out. Whenever we put on his face, we put on the golf ball, we put on the golf club, put on the border, put on the letters. All right, the idea here is to use a combo square to get the reveal right. All right, that's gonna be good. And nice. What do you think?
Oh my gosh, I love him. I just think he's the perfect logo balance between cool and cute.
Okay, here we go.
The letters were tricky because we could put a mark on the bottom of where each letter should go, but we still needed to nail it on straight. So while Jacob held it up, I would stand back and let my eye judge on it needing to be adjusted. Whew, that is so cool. Okay, next was repeating, putting on the same pieces, using the same process on the other side. Then I went back in to fill in all the holes I created with the nail gun. Here I'm going to be using DAP's Platinum Patch, which is rated for interior or exterior. After getting all the holes puttied, I gave it a light sanding, then threw on yet more paint. Dun 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 dun! Now is the biggest test of this entire project. Can we even move this thing? Up to this point, Jacob and I were getting more and more nervous building this thing. In person, it is so big, it is so heavy, and as you're putting your hands all over it, you're just thinking, is this thing gonna live in the shop forever? We also had to guess where the balance point would be in the base we built. So to say I was nervous in the upcoming shots is an understatement, but you guys know me. Intimidation doesn't stop me, so let's give it a try.
All right, fingers crossed.
Our plan here was to pick it up from the side and drag it out from the shop so that I could pick it up from the front. I don't know if you can see, but we have 2 heavy-duty furniture dollies at the back so that whenever I pick it up, I could just drag it backwards. I was nervous about picking him up and him falling to his death by being wobbly on my forks as I tried to move with him. So the plan was to pick him up from the side just a little bit and see if he was stable.
Should we get some beauty shots in case he doesn't make it? Yeah, I'm just gonna pick him up. How'd that feel?
It felt fine. So then I had Jacob hop on top of him, shake him around a little bit, and he still felt stable.
Yeah, that thing's sturdy enough to move out to the road, right?
Okay, At this point, it checked all of the boxes on making me feel safe and secure moving them. So I took it nice and slow and I started moving them out to the road. My heart was racing the whole time. It was amazing seeing him finished and writing on my forks, but I was still cautious and mindful that something could go wrong and he would be lost. When driving forward, I was completely blind and relying on Jacob to guide me, which in a parking lot is fine, but getting through the gates scared me, so I drove in reverse so that I could see. Now for those of you who know I'm dyslexic and hit at least one thing anytime I'm in reverse, I did pretty good. I can only imagine what people driving by thought about the situation. It also cracks me up just how large he was in the shop, and I'm not gonna say small, but how very not large he is by the side of the road. I will say he's 100% done his job. In the few weeks he's been out there, the manager of Divots has gotten so many calls asking about what indoor golf is and booked a tee time.
That's awesome! That's so awesome! Whew, this one was full of challenges, guys, and I'm so glad we were able to overcome them all in order to make a 12-foot by 9-foot sign that is movable. I am getting tons of compliments on the gopher. I've named him Divot. He is the mascot of Divots, and I do have some merch with shirts and hats if you're interested in getting him branded on something of yours. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will see you on whatever I'm building next.